quite. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Right Opinion, the home of a twat with too much free time, and net neutrality under assault once again. Yes, as always, Ajit Pai, the passionate advocate for a free and open internet, is back and ready to repeal those rippling regulations that have hurt consumers so badly. He's really a knight in shining armour to those who have suffered. And when I say those who have suffered, I mean the poor cable companies. My heart has really wept for them over the last few years. I've had to watch them endure pure torture. Now, I covered many arguments back in my first video, which was aptly titled Don't Forget About Net Neutrality. It appears that I haven't, and here I am ready to argue against the new points that have appeared to sprout out of the malnourished, deprived soil. After Ajit Pai was forced back into the bushes, he has emerged once again with a 200-page plus manifesto that no one can be bothered to read. But I assume he spent a lot of time on it, so he'll inevitably be pretty bummed if it's rejected again. The main agenda? Repealing net neutrality. The response from people all over the spectrum has been universal protest, with many people outwardly signaling their distaste for Ajit Pai and his obsessive scheme to remove that pesky government internet regulation. However, from the few voices that weren't self-interested millionaire moguls, a clear trend could be recognised. Many of them are people trying to express damage control. They hardly come across in favour of it, yet they still feel like, you know what, everything will be alright. And to be honest, I do not know what will exactly happen if net neutrality is repealed, and how it will affect Americans and so on. No one really does. But for me, that's a risk that's not worth taking. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's the current situation with net neutrality in the US. If Mr. Pai really listened to the consumers, he wouldn't be pushing so hard with these plans, yet he has knowingly disregarded public opinion and is pushing for a clear reform. I don't believe he's an extreme authoritarian who believes that his way is the best for consumers and he's gonna show them that he's right. I believe he has a few friends in high places. I think that's mainly understood now. Any reform that only benefited the citizens yet they overwhelmingly opposed would not be passed. So the optimists say, well, it was fine before. Apart from it wasn't. I don't know if people were just unaware of certain unfolding controversies or the glasses of nostalgia cloud up the judgment, but the past wasn't quite as peachy as it's envisioned, especially during the few years prior to the introduction of net neutrality. From my understanding, Pai and co. wish to see their freedom return to the Telecommunications Act of 1996, and many people defend that as saying, well, it was okay then. However, 1996 just isn't the same as 2017. So many new websites and networks have emerged. What's also changed since 1996 is that these cable companies have slowly began to eat up the rest of the market. Verizon, AT&T and Comcast are basically buying out the competition. It's not the same. And the signs of the problems were there. We did encounter many of the issues that brought on the push for net neutrality. The lovely old chaps at Comcast were already caught out for excluding their services from data caps while enforcing them on other streaming sites. Therefore, it's no surprise that Netflix opposes this move. And hell, there's more. Another article by Del Cameron on Gizmodo, which I'll link in the description below as well, lists more instances where competitors were locked out. Just reading the examples is depressing me. Ajit Pai would make a fantastic politician. He only speaks in soundbites, dresses everything up to make it look simply fabulous, and constantly dodges questions. People are frustrated in part because Ajit Pai doesn't give them information that they can understand. Sure, he can give them the 200-page manifesto, completely encrypted in didactic references and jargon, but that's not helpful to the everyday person who simply doesn't have time for that. And the fact that he is withholding information and dodging questions should only be cause for alarm. We just can't hope it'll be the good old days. People saying that this is just deregulation is wrong. It's transfer of regulation to the market where there's almost no competition, a market where over half of Americans only have one choice of internet provider. We are not in 1996 anymore. The repeal of net neutrality is a threat because right now people are happy with it as it is. Ajit Pai is basically lying to the point where he can claim that somehow this bill will be protecting the vulnerable of society, only to be contradicted by his own paper. Ajit Pai is not an honest man. Ajit Pai does not have the people's interest at heart. I do my best to tell myself every day that if it does happen, it won't be that bad, but he cannot be trusted. And I worry that the people who will suffer are the independent sites, are the consumers, are the entrepreneurs, are the innovators, are the people trying to get somewhere in life. And for that reason, there is no bone in my fucking body that could ever support Ajit Pai's proposals. The internet is fine. Keep your hands off it. I know what you want to do, but people aren't that stupid. I sincerely hope that we do not let this go. In the marketplace of ideas, the fact that I can take fruits from every stall is an essential component of intellectual enrichment. I hope it remains that way. Anyway, any thoughts yourself? Are we all doomed apocalypse now? Apocalypse later? I don't know, but let me know. Until then, I'm The Right Opinion, and I'll see you in the next one.